The Lebanon Leprechauns are wrapping up the All-Star break, so it's the perfect time to check in for a team update. Team President Preston Myers and VP Brittany Nickle join us for episode 114 of the Love in Lebanon podcast. Preston and Brittany share what's gone right and what fans can expect for the second half of the season. Episode 114 starts now.
Welcome to the Love in Lebanon podcast, highlighting all the great things happening in Lebanon, Indiana. Have an idea for an episode? Send an email to lovinlebanon@lebanon.in.gov.
Hey everybody, welcome to the podcast. This episode, we're talking basketball. NCAA tournament, both the guys and gals, is over with. We are shifting some major attention to our hometown Lebanon Leprechauns and the TBL. Joining us on this episode, we have President of the team, Preston Myers, and Vice President Brittany Nickle joining us on this episode. Guys, thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Joe. Always a pleasure to sit down and talk basketball with you.
And talking Leprechauns basketball is something we love to do. It's the All-Star break, taking a little respite and heading east. How excited are you at this point in the season? The Leprechauns 2-6, but before we hit record, Brittany, you were talking like it could easily be 4-4 and better, and the team has some potential, some serious potential.
Yeah, we all know that game against Toledo is questionably a loss, but I do think we definitely have some potential on our team. We just need to unlock that potential in our guys, and it's only going to go up from here.
How excited are you, Preston, for the second half of the season, being able to have some new members gelling and taking some time and doing that, having some close games that came down to a controversial call that Brittany is talking about, but being able to then kind of right the ship and continue to move together as a team and have a positive second half of the season?
Well, it is a long season, and 2-6 is not a phenomenal start. 4-4 would sure feel a lot better for us, but the way this works this year in the TBL is all we have to do is finish in the top half of our division, and we're currently a game out of third place. So, yeah, we're chasing the top end of this league, but we're comfortably in the hunt for the playoffs. Once the playoffs roll around, it is a one-and-done first round this year, so we might just see those Toledo Wranglers again and have a little bit of payback in store.
And taking a look back at last year, the Leprechauns, were sadly upset by Kokomo, but they made a run. So there's proof that a team from our region can get hot at the right time and get to the very end, the championship game.
Absolutely. Kokomo made it all the way to the Final Four last year, one game above 500 after starting 1-7. So the last person that's panicked about our start is me. I totally understand there's 16 games left, and that's a lot of basketball, and we're going to win some more, we're going to lose some more, and so is every other team in the league, and we'll be just fine.
And Brittany, how exciting has it been for you to be able to really kind of jump in and dive in and give your talents to this team? If you see like a lot of the videos and things on social media, everybody, that's Brittany doing the highlights and things like that, putting together all the fun little TikTok stuff. How is it to be able to utilize your talents this way and highlight a team that you're crazy about?
So this year, I'm just kind of building on the fundamental skills that I learned last year. My degree is actually in photography, and I knew nothing about the video side of any of this. So all of that was learned last year. So I'm just kind of fine-tuning the craft. Decided to start the TikTok. We do good with basketball on the court, but I need to give these guys more of a character. The TikTok is to let loose, show everyone how fun they are. Almost every single time I look at them, one of them is always dancing. This team is just so much fun to be around, and I want everyone else to know that as well.
Yeah, I would piggyback on that and just say that it's really a reality show. It's a reality show in a basketball season. As you get to know the characters and the players more, those personalities come out, and you really start to enjoy the game on a whole new level other than just wins and losses. You see guys kind of come and go. There are new faces, new characters that come to town every now and again. And then there are old favorites that we sometimes see across on the other bench. But this is really a different league in a lot of respects. But I think some of those character moments are what sets us apart from some other lower character leagues.
Yeah, because that's one of the things is we talked before we hit record about you holding your team and its personnel to a higher standard and really stress being out in the public, and you don't have to look far or look hard to be able to see that taking place out in the public, whether it be giving of time and giving of just really overall respect and love to the community in which the players play. And it's a league-wide push for this league, right? This is something that is stressed not just here in Lebanon, but all over.
Absolutely. It's really the secret sauce to what we're doing. It's basketball everywhere, but making that connection locally, growing that fan base interpersonally, really makes the Leprechauns stand out by comparison to a lot of other teams in this league, and our league stand out by comparison to many other leagues at all sorts of different levels, really even in all sorts of sports. We really take pride in the community service, and just some of the other teams in our own division set an incredible standard. The Jamestown Jackals do a fantastic job in Jamestown, New York, probably doing more community service than they do practicing on the court themselves. I can't speak highly enough about Kokomo and their efforts. We're happy to be in that group too. And, from working locally with, the Shalom House and the Kiwanis Club, and
we have 4 of them working in different school systems.
Yeah, a great partnership with the United Methodist Children's Home. Just the exact kind of thing that, frankly, I'm really proud to put my name next to, that has nothing to do with how well we're playing at the given time.
And I saw some hand gestures. Brittany, was there something you wanted to add with just
he covered most of it.
The love?
But, we do like to pride ourselves on being, basically our players are accessible to the public. If you go and see an NBA game, most likely you're not going to be able to go down and shake their hand. They're going to be ushered back to the locker room and you're never going to see them. But, our guys are out in the public daily and they love it too. They love being recognized. They love being hometown fans.
And one of my highlights of my next question for you guys is, first half, the highlights that you guys have had, but going to games and then after the contest is over, just like you're saying, Brittany, all the kids mobbing the Leprechaun players and dancers, wanting autographs and their pictures taken with those people. And you're right, they are accessible. They're right there in the flesh. You can give them a high five, a handshake, a hug, and they're there, and they seem to enjoy it. If not, they really fake it.
You don't know how tall 7 foot is until you stand next to Alex.
We've got President Preston Myers of the Lebanon Leprechauns and Brittany Nickle. She's the vice president of the team here on the Lebanon podcast. Things you've liked so far in this season? You mentioned 16 or so games after the All-Star break comes to a close. Things you've liked so far this year, other than those 2 wins?
Well, we've struggled a little bit with turnovers, but I see a lot of progress being made there. Some days it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Some days it's 1 step forward and 2 steps back. But we're definitely getting better every game. I think by the end of it, we'll be just fine. Again, I can't harp on it enough. The outpouring of support from our core fan base has been fantastic. And we just hope to continue to add to that and put our roots down even deeper into the community. And really, the credit there goes to the players and their willingness to be that hometown hero for so many kids. And I'm telling you, not a day goes by that I don't hear from a mom or a dad or a grandmother that says, hey, these Leprechauns mean a lot to my kids. And that's heartening to hear.
I've started doing like a weekly, whose shoe is this contest
I've seen them,
online. And I had someone who told me that a 3-year-old could identify Dylan Ware's shoes. And if that doesn't tell you that, all of the kids are watching these guys.
And has that been your favorite part, the first half of the season? Has that been a positive where you can pick out the shoes of a player? I'm sure you could go.
It definitely surprised me.
And we're talking with Preston and Brittany here with 11 Leprechauns. If we can, some of the challenges, some of the things that haven't gone so well that you would love to rectify. You mentioned turnovers with the team, but just in general, as far as organizationally, more people coming out to see the team. There have been some weather issues. There have been some vacations that have kind of coincided with a huge homestand that the team has had during the first half of the season. and we're hoping that the folks will come out and see the team when they come back from the All-Star break.
Right. We only have 5 home games left. 2 in April, 3 in May. So we'd love to get everyone back out, at least continue the fans we have, but we'd really like to find some new ones. It just in March, everything was so back-to-back that we were on the run every single day.
And that is the biggest challenge we had this year, was definitely our calendar. It was very home heavy in March. It was tough to take what worked in game 2 and have enough time to make an adjustment for game 3.
Oh, okay. On top of each other.
From an organizational standpoint. The other thing that we constantly struggle with, and we're lucky compared to some teams, we have an army of people helping us. But I really need twice as many volunteers and staff. I mean, everything from ushers to people to help take tickets to folks to run the camera, to really help in any facet that you can think of. There's always something more that we could be doing. And honestly, this is a little bit of a call for volunteers. Mm-hmm. If you've ever wanted to put professional basketball on your resume, I may not be able to get you a starting job, but I can definitely find you some way to contribute to a basketball team.
Looking down, I think I've seen you a couple different times jumping right in and having to do that, and as the president of the team.
I'll be perfectly honest, Joe, so have you. But yeah, I've done everything from
nice job.
Run the scoreboard to, punch tickets to I do the laundry at the end of the night too. Well, sometimes.
So yeah, it takes a village, no doubt about it. Expectations, second half of the season. Brittany, you talked about getting some of those same fans, those core fans, as Preston said, but also getting some new ones as well. Other expectations for the team as the home stretch? You talked about how attainable it can be to get into the playoffs, and then we'll see what happens. But expectations for the squad?
On the court, we believe really in 3 big things. Play hard, play smart, and have fun. And if we do those 3 things, not only will we be successful on the court, but the fans in the crowd will feel like this is a great ticket. And win or lose, if we're playing hard and giving it our all and having a good time, that will translate to a great product. And that's the real goal for the second half of the season, is to maintain those 3 aspects of what we do. Now, I would like to see us shoot the ball a little better. I would like to see us control the ball a little better. A little bit of defense here and there wouldn't hurt occasionally. But all of those things are really secondary to the true mission, which is to grow this organization and level it up for next year. When you think about big sports organizations, they all started relatively small. Even, the Yankees were not the Yankees until they left Baltimore. Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like there's a pathway to this. And I don't want to compare us to the New York Yankees, but we're much leaner, meaner, and stronger as an organization than we were when we were founded. So it's very bright what is going to happen down the line. And I'm looking forward to those challenges, but there are still a lot of level ups that we need to figure out how to do. And I'm excited to see how we can accomplish that.
Brittany, more of the same?
Yeah, surprisingly enough, the basketball part of this is the easiest part of this. Coaching staff, everything, that's the easiest part of this. It's the figuring out the halftime entertainment, the finding the sponsors, This year, it was, making sure that we could buy the bus, stuff like that. It's just little things, finding our way out to Pennsylvania for this All-Star game.
For the team, the sky's the limit, and being able to get that ship righted and fine-tune some things and have a good time while doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Certainly.
It's been a blast. It really has. And good things are in store. Good things are in store. We know that. But at the same time, if you've got ideas or would like to help, we'd love to have you.
We got Preston Myers, who's the president of the Lebanon Leprechauns, and Brittany Nickle, who's the VP. And if we can, Brittany, not from Lebanon per se, but there's something about this league and something about this team that really kind of tugged at you. What was it, a couple years ago where you started to get in with the team? But when did that start for you and your passion for not only the TBL, but also the Leprechauns as well?
So I knew about this team about a week before it was announced. Preston came to me from knowing me when he owned his game store in Crawfordsville. Yep. So that's where I'm from, Crawfordsville, Montgomery County. He came to me and said, "Hey, I have this idea. and I need your assistant. And at first, I kind of thought he was crazy.
Still think a little bit, or no?
Well, basically, I was with him from day one. I was there for the press release. I've been there. I missed one game last year. I attended every other game. I was lucky enough to attend the league meetings. I met the owners of the league, David and Evelyn Magley. Wonderful people. And when I learned what they were about, I think is what sealed my love for this team and this league. They want to better the players. Even for them, it's not about basketball. It's about the greater good. They want to make sure that all the guys have financial literacy training so they know, if they make it big, what are they going to do with that money? Stuff like that. And ever since then, this is the reason that I wake up every day. I have a 40-hour week job, and then I do this on top of this. Yes.
Wow. This is for fun.
Right now, yeah. Eventually this will be everything, but for right now, this is for fun, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
But Preston, you talk about Brittany as kind of your Swiss Army knife. She's the Jill of all trades, if you will, being able to have a lot of roles with the team, a lot of different roles. How helpful has she been since day one? Someone you brought in from the Friendly City Game Store, currently in Lebanon, Indiana, and formerly in Crawfordsville, but being able to have that kind of partnership and respect for her to bring her in.
I don't know that we would have ever played a single game without her, to tell you the truth. Brittany has been far more than a Swiss Army knife. She is the heart and soul of my team, really. She personifies everything we're trying to do and also keeps me in check with keeping me on task with what I need to do. She's nodding her head
and an affirmation like, yep.
Yeah, so we really, we're the Leprechauns, but we're as much Brittany Nickle's Leprechauns as Preston Myers, because we really couldn't do it without her.
How does it make you feel to hear that?
It's good. I like feeling it.
So as we kind of round the corner here for the end of this podcast, if someone is listening to this episode and has never been to a Leprechauns game, talk about Brittany's love for getting in on the ground floor and hoping to do this as a full-time gig. If someone's never been to a game and listening to this episode, what are you telling them to come out to a contest in the second half of the season to help the Leprechauns make a run towards the playoffs?
So the funny thing is, before Preston came to me, I didn't like basketball. I knew nothing about basketball. So this is just as much about families, about fun, as it is basketball. Now I know a lot about basketball, but every single game, there's so many kids running around with Lucky. They love the dancers. There's something for everyone at every game.
Even if you're not a basketball fan, the games and people dressed up in unicorn costumes and doing all those things is special.
It's equal parts ridiculous and can't miss. It's the best ticket in town, to tell you the truth. I as a Lebanon native, I can't tell you how many times I've heard there's nothing to do in this town. And that's A, not true, but B, especially not true now, because this is a real hoot. And right, it doesn't matter if you're 3 years old, 30, or 300. There is something for you.
Love watching them, love being there for sure. And we appreciate you guys being here on the podcast. Really appreciate it. Everybody, thanks for listening to this episode of the Love in Lebanon podcast. More episodes are coming your way. Take care, everyone.